Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, whenever you find this message. So really quick, y'all, I had a word. I wanted to talk about love, and I know we hear that word often, and everybody knows about 1 Corinthians 13 and the definition of love that God gives us in the Bible. But I wanted to just tap on that a little bit because one thing that I've been noticing, like when you see like people who make videos and they talk about, well, if you're a Christian, you wouldn't do this and you wouldn't do that, or if you talk about if you were saved, you wouldn't act like that, blah blah blah, whatever that may be. I don't think enough people talk about the fact that when you are saved or you're a Christian and you walk under Christ and you believe in God and Christ, that the thing that matters the most is that you love. And not just love your friends and your family, but you love everyone, regardless of how they act, what they do, who they are. And I myself have struggled with that. And I think it's just so, I don't know, maybe it's just time for me to take a step back and do a reflection. But I myself have struggled with that. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. Like, we like to, get mad at people when they do us wrong or be negative with people, whatever that may be. But the Bible teaches us that love is all that matters. In fact, the commandments that were in the Old Testament were basically, how can I say this? Not wiped away, because they still matter, of course, but they were kind of like canceled out by the number one commandment, which is love for all. Jesus said that you should love your neighbor as you love yourself. Love thy neighbor. And if you do that, you pretty much encompass all of the commandments into one. Because if you love your neighbor, of course, you're not going to steal from them. You're not going to kill them. You're not going to do harm. You're not going to lie. All of that good stuff. So having love is really the main thing. So I wrote down some things, and I just want to discuss them with y'all. So I said love is all that matters. Because if you choose love, you will do no harm. And without love, you have nothing. So in 1 Corinthians, the verses 1 through 8, it basically says, hold on, y'all. Excuse me. It basically says that you could speak in tongues without love. It just is noise. You can have prophetic power, faith, understanding, wisdom, but without love, you have nothing. You can give away everything that you have, saying that you are a good person, but if you don't have love, you will gain nothing. And another thing that I wanted to point out is like we don't express love enough, and I feel like that's a problem because we might get mad at people, or we might feel like somebody owes us something, might be bitter, and we never get past that. We just hold this bitterness in our heart. Sorry, y'all. We hold this bitterness in our heart sometimes, and that blocks us from loving people just maybe because they did us wrong, or we feel like we didn't get justice in a situation. And I myself have been there. But I think it's just so important to understand that, love is really all that matters, regardless of what somebody might have did to you, how somebody made you feel, how you feel about a situation. Love is the key. And as long as you can love somebody, and regardless, it doesn't mean that you have to be their best friend. It doesn't mean that you have to always talk to them, but you have to love them, because that is what Christ wanted us to do. That is what, as a Christian, that is your duty as a Christian. And you see a lot of people, like, we have our own judgments of how we think things are supposed to be, or how we think people are supposed to act, but that's not our place. It is not our place, because everybody falls short. But that's why it's so important to love one another and love each other how we would want somebody to love ourselves, and to be understanding and know, sometimes I fall short and I want people to still love me. And sometimes another person might fall short and you want them to love you. So I'm just going to read from 1 Corinthians. It says, love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own ways. And I think that that's so important to talk about, because a lot of people, and I see this like on social media, like people would say, oh, well, if you're a Christian, you're not supposed to have your hair done. You're not supposed to have your nails done. You're not supposed to da-da-da-da. And to be honest, that's even though there are parts in the Bible that talk about, women having their hair covered and stuff like that, that does not separate you from God. And that kind of goes back to what I was saying about how the enemy will try to trick your mind into thinking that if you do certain things that you fall short from God. And I think it's important as Christians that we be mindful of that. We do not insist that we are always right when it comes to telling somebody, oh, if you got your nails done, you going to hell, because that's not the case. And so I just wanted to I didn't mean to go off from the word, but I think it's just so important that we do talk about that. But again, love does not insist on its own way. Love is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but with truth. And so the last part is love bears all things. Love believes all, hopes all, and endures all things. Love never ends. And so in Corinthians, it was talking about how prophetic words can end, knowledge and wisdom can end, everything can end, but the only thing that won't end is love. And it made me think about when you lose somebody in your family, you lose somebody that you're close to. You might have had whatever times throughout your life where that person could have been up and down, left and right, whatever that may be. But the one thing that does not fail, regardless of this person is here or not, is the love that you have for that person. So that's so important that we remember that love never ends and love is all that matters. So regardless of when somebody may have fell short towards you, when you may have fell short in your own life towards other people, just remember that love is all that matters. And if you love somebody, that is the Christian way. That is how you are supposed to treat people. That is how you walk in divine alignment with Jesus Christ, by loving others, loving your neighbors the way you would want to be loved. Okay, y'all, that's it. I love you for free. Peace. Have a good one.